But we began our report with new legal battles stemming from the indictment of Donald Trump and 18 of his associates in Georgia. Ex-White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows has been charged alongside the former president for alleged efforts to overturn the results of the 2020 election in the Peach State. On Tuesday, Meadows filed to move the case against him in Fulton County to federal court. It's an attempt to get the charges against him dismissed under federal law. CBS's Nikole Killion has more from Atlanta.
The 98-page indictment was handed up as cameras rolled. It contained 41 felony counts, listing former President Trump and 18 other defendants, including members of his inner circle, former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows and ex-personal attorney Rudy Giuliani. District Attorney Fani Willis gave them 10 days to surrender.
The grand jury believes they were part of the illegal effort to overturn the results of Georgia's 2020 presidential election.
The indictment says the activity began within days of the 2020 election. Willis used Georgia's racketeering law to accuse Trump and his associates of conspiracy.
Some of those acts may seem quite innocent in and of themselves, but they are each steps, according to the prosecutor, to show a pattern of activity that is, in fact, composed of ultimately of crimes.
The court filing cites 161 separate overt acts, ranging from lying to state legislators during a series of hearings at the Georgia Capitol to creating a false slate of electors and severe harassment of election worker Ruby Freeman. In a pair of Truth Social posts, Trump called the indictment a witch hunt, renewing his claims of election fraud in Georgia. The indictment also references Trump's phone call to Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, which sparked Willis's investigation.
I just want to find 11,780 votes.
Today, Raffensperger said, the most basic principles of a strong democracy are accountability and respect for the Constitution and rule of law. You either have it or you don't.
And Nikole joins us now outside the courthouse there. We'll get back to former President Trump in a minute, but first I want you to be able to tell us what you found out that's new information about this sort of confusion surrounding Monday's indictment. Seems officials got it wrong in an effort to get it right.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, Jerika. I mean, look, midday Monday, there was a news report that said that charges had been filed against the former president, and it was quickly taken down. They based this report off of a filing that they saw from the Fulton County Clerk's office where they post charges and charging documents. So at the time, we were just told that it was fictitious. It wasn't accurate. Well, today we have now learned from the Fulton County Clerk's office that sounds like they made a mistake, that the clerk was trying to do a test run, a trial run, especially ahead of a potentially large indictment like this, and accidentally ended up posting a fictitious docket with these pre-existing charges. So the clerk's office says that it understands the confusion this may have caused given the sensitive nature of this case, but it has raised some consternation, particularly among members of Trump's legal team who call it a big fumble.
Yeah, definitely caused a lot of upheaval. Nikole, big picture, though, with this indictment being the fourth one, how serious is this case in Georgia when you look at the other legal issues the former president is facing?
Well, in talking to other legal experts, including some here in Georgia, they contend that all of these charges are serious, right? What's different about this one is this sweeping racketeering charge that we saw the district attorney employ, which is a tool she has used before in big sprawling cases, simply because it's like an umbrella charge that you can use to lump a series of activities kind of into one narrative, and also allows her to be able to, as we saw in this case, charge multiple defendants. That being said, racketeering charges do potentially come with a mandatory minimum. So if the former president were convicted, it's possible he would have to serve time. But the other difference is, because these are state charges, if he was charged and convicted here in Fulton County and he was reelected in 2024, he would not have the ability to pardon himself from these charges, unlike some of the federal charges that he's facing.
You know, some of Trump's more well-known associates like Rudy Giuliani and Mark Meadows have been indicted in Georgia, but there are a lot of unfamiliar faces, if you will, who've been charged as well. What can you tell us about some of those other co-defendants and their alleged involvement?
Yeah, that's right. Well, another big name is John Eastman, whose name has come up time and again in some of these other cases, most notably and most recently with respect to the federal charges filed related to that January 6th case. Of course, Eastman was the one who authored this controversial memo suggesting that the vice president potentially had the power to overturn the election by accepting a false slate of electors. There's also Kenneth Chesborough, who also authored a memo with a similar theory. So that being said, they are some of the more notable figures. You also have other members of the former president's legal team like Sidney Powell, Jenna Ellis, some of whom came here to Georgia to when Rudy Giuliani, for instance, gave a presentation to state lawmakers back in December 2020, trying to convince them not to approve the legitimate slate of electors and to choose others and not to certify the results of the election. So, you know, there are a number of individuals as well who harassed, for instance, poll worker Ruby Freeman, who we remember from the January 6th hearings, who she and her daughter talked about the impact of being named by the former president and receiving death threats and how this really just upended their lives. So some of those defendants also were involved in some of those harassment charges. So writ large, again, a very sweeping investigation and one that will continue with the district attorney now asking all of these defendants to surrender themselves within the next 10 days. Jerika.
All right, Nikole Killion on the story for us tonight. Thank you.